get a little bit of your history, your story here, because I'm really excited just to kind of give you the stage. And I know that going to school is hard. A lot of people don't give it that much credit.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh yeah, school. But school, like going to school is like a thing, especially you have family on the way if you have working at all. So
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to talk with you a bunch. I'm excited that you're here. So before we like jump into that side of it, would you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you came to IntelliTec?
I've lived here in Junction and Freedom my whole life, so kind of I've always known about IntelliTec. I delivered for FedEx, and I delivered here for FedEx, or I delivered to you guys. So I deliver all your books and stuff. So I kind of already knew about it. I did a little bit of WCCC when I was in school. Didn't do a whole lot after that, but I actually the reason why I came to IntelliTec is because I really liked computers. I've actually built two of my own, and I wanted to try to get more of the technical side, the professional side of it, and try to see if I can make a career, or at least some skills I can have that I can use on the side for some extra stuff, extra help.
Are you still delivering for FedEx now?
No. I'm not anymore.
Okay, yeah.
No, that's actually one reason why I decided to do school again. It's because I was there for 3 years, and then in February I left. I couldn't find any jobs. I figured I might try going to school. I let's see. I started the job I have now, and then a month later I was enrolled in here. And then the job that I currently have, I was working as it's a regulator technician. So the company I work for does transformers. They refurbish them, repair them, and stuff like that. I work on regulators, which they regulate the incoming volts and electricity into buildings and stuff, so that way you turn something on, your lights don't flicker, stuff like that. It actually had a really good schedule for me because it's from 6 a.m. to 4:30. And then it was Monday through Thursday also. So I was working 410. So I always had that Friday off from school and work to do any of the schoolwork I needed to do. And that way I could have a bit more of a free weekend when I was doing that. But yeah, so
well, that still has to be hard. Like just 410s. So you're telling me that you went to work starting at 6
a.m.
6 in the morning, which means you have to be up before 6 to get to work at 6.
Yeah,
but
like 45 every day.
Yeah, and then you would do your classes in the evening with Spin. Tell me about, kind of just adjusting to that schedule, or did you feel like it was an adjustment, or you just felt like
It was an adjustment, definitely, at first. Now I've got to adjust back to not doing that.
Yeah.
My wife was telling me, she doesn't know what she's going to do with me, because normally I would come home, eat dinner real quick, and then I'd go off into the office and do the school stuff. And now I'm not going to have the school stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I'm going to have all this extra time now. But yeah, it was definitely difficult sometimes especially when we got to the later nights. Like we would be doing stuff till 8:30. I'm usually going to bed I'm usually done and trying to be in bed by 8 or 9 o'clock because I got to be up at 4:45 the next morning. So it definitely, there was some challenges with that. I was tired, busy
all the time.
But I feel like it wasn't too bad of a adjustment into I just kind of figured I've got to do it. And so I just kind of buckled down and got through it all.
Yeah. So I know that you said that you had built a couple of computers before, and that's kind of how you got interested in this field. And now you're using this as kind of you're launching into a new career for you. And I love that you said, I figured I just have to do it. So were you doing it like, is this new career field just something you thought was interesting? Is it something you felt like your family needed? Were you just tired doing what you had been doing?
I'll say it was a few things. I feel like, because I, in my mind, I am the provider of for my family.
Of course. Yeah.
That's the way I was brought up to be. I'm supposed to be the one that brings in the money that I can. And with FedEx, I did have a really good job. It's just there was no benefits. I was working all the time because I was also managing all the trucks too. So it's a lot of handwork. Also, all the jobs I've had have been physical jobs, um, manual labor stuff. And I wanted to get away from that a little bit if I could. I'm always hurting my hands. I mean, I got a ding there.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to try to have something where I use my brain more than my body. Because that's what my dad worked for. He didn't finish high school. He did a bunch of oil field and then driving trucks. Then I definitely
hard work.
Yeah, it put a dent in his his health. I mean, it's not like he's horrible now, but definitely not what I wanted to do if I could. And then I also wanted to try to show my kids that if it's something you really want to do, sometimes you just got to put in the hard work and do it. And then that they can have a better life, especially if they get a little better education.
Mm-hmm.
It can help them with getting a good career that'll be stable and
mm-hmm.
provide for that.
Yeah. And I think it's cool that you say that too, because a lot of times, like, we try to tell people stuff. You should do this, you should go to school, you should have this, but being able to show your kids that just the demonstration and the hard work, and say, I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes my classes weren't done until 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And this is what I had to do to make a better future for myself. Sometimes it's hard to separate yourself from what you're doing right now and being comfortable.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes you just got to go out of your comfort zone too, because yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of going out of my comfort zone.
But you've made it to the end of your program.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you were saying you don't know what you're going to do with yourself because you have all this extra time. But I would assume one of those things that you're going to do is move into a new career, or what does that look like for you?
I've been trying to.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to during the program because I wanted to try to learn what I was working with at the same time. It didn't work out too well. I wasn't really able to get anywhere with that. But I'm going to focus on now getting the certifications done, and then I'll be on the lookout for jobs. But once I get the certifications, that's when I'll really start pushing for the new jobs. Something that I can do that I can maybe be at least a little bit less on my feet all day.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
you have your eyes on any particular place or business?
No, it's really whatever I can get at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that being a certificate, I'm still at the back end of the things.
You're ahead of some.
I'm ahead of some, but there's a lot of jobs with the CST stuff, the computer stuff that they want bachelor degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to try to find something that I can maybe work into it.
Yeah.
I might end up going for a bachelor's too in a few years. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it kind of depends on how difficult it is for me to get a job.
Yeah.
Now. But right now I'm just looking for whatever I can.
Right.
Whatever I can get. I'm not being picky about it.
Yeah.
As long as it's something that is different from what I've been doing, hands and tools and stuff, I'll be happy with it.
Yeah. Well, your grades and your dedication show that you're probably suited to get a job.
I'm hoping so.
In your career field, whenever, you're ready. And of course we have career services here, so don't hesitate.
Yes, I've actually been working with them a little bit. They helped me get my resume a little bit better. So
awesome.
So
awesome.
I've been doing that.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
Well, I think it's really cool that you are getting a chance to kind of sit back and reap the rewards of your hard work. I understand, but it's just been a long time, but I understand how much time that you have to put in this, plus the transition. And I think I'd like to talk just a little bit about being an online student, because usually you just go to a room, you sit down, there's an instructor in the front of the room, and there's a little bit more interaction along with. But did you find the online portion of learning to be easy, or
I felt it to be easy.
Okay.
I also felt that it is easy to get distracted with it.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a 5-year-old that
Yeah.
likes to come in and talk to you and stuff. Yeah. But I also liked the independence that it gave. Okay. Because I liked to get all of my work done as soon as I could. I liked having my weekends if I could have them. So I always tried to make sure I was caught up by Thursday or Friday. But I didn't feel like it made the learning harder. I just feel like it was it was an adjustment, because it was different. You know, I've never done that. All of my school was always in classrooms.
Yeah.
But it was different, but it was nice at the same time, because you get that independence. You can do the work on your time. To an extent, you had due dates and stuff like that, but it wasn't get all this stuff done right now, because a lot of people, have work, and I was lucky enough that my work was done before my classes usually. But I know a lot of people didn't have that. So having the less structure, I think, gives people who are more busy with their lives and their work ability to still get the work done and learn the stuff.
Yeah.
And then with the recordings, if you miss something, you can go back and you can see, you can watch what you missed. So that's definitely a good
thing. We're calling these conversations that we're having tricks of the trade. So I am curious, obviously going to school, hard and easy at the same time once you figure out the balance of it. But if you had to give, either your former self or a future student advice on how to be successful in school, what advice would you give them?
Don't overthink it. A lot of times you can overthink things and then you get things wrong, or you overwhelm yourself, and you look at things one step at a time, one day at a time. You just gotta take things one day at a time, because if you start thinking about how much you have, it really puts a damper on your ability to do it. That's actually something I learned from FedEx too, because when you're driving to Moab, your truck's full of packages, and you're just sitting there thinking, oh, I have so much to do. I can't do this. This is going to suck. It's going to be a horrible day. And then you get out there and you start doing it, and your stuff gets emptier. Your truck gets empty. As you go along, you start thinking, okay, this is better. I can do this. I can do this. It's kind of the same thing. Don't think about how much work you have to do. Just start doing it, because then you'll get overwhelmed, and then you think, this is horrible. I can't do this. I'm stupid. Whatever. You start thinking of yourself, because we're not nice to ourselves. And then, just don't overthink it. Don't get overwhelmed. Think about it. Know what you have to do, but don't delve too deeply into how much you have to do. Just start with the first thing and then move on to the next, and the next, and then the next, until you're done.
Such good advice. Such good advice. Do you have any shout outs or any thank yous you want to give as we're closing out?
Well, all the professors were great, especially Miss Moser. I had her for the last three classes. I'm really glad I did, because she's really invested in the success of the students. So yeah, she definitely helped a lot.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure getting to kind of chat with you, figure out your story a little bit. I know that you're going to do great out there, and so whenever you do land that job, come back and let us know about it. All right.
I will. I'll be calling. Super excited.
All right, cool. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.